You are in the Warriors Huddle with me, Bram, and with me, per usual, my master of all things video and sound, Maxine,
How's it going?
who made me hella nervous. It looked like you were on mute right there. We were like smashing towards you, and I thought we were going to catch a muted entry, but no, you nailed it. And we're not alone. Not muted, Maxine. We also have my boy and producer, MT.
What's up, Dub Nation?
Gentlemen, exciting episode today. Let me start it by a quick shout out to the various people who provided positive feedback to me about last week's KP episode. I'll put it in short. We agree. She's fucking awesome. Appreciate you guys noticing. She was fantastic. Also, quick apologies. Yes, you're right. I did not cover any dating stories with her. We were dealing with some time constraints, was what it was, but I promise more KP in our not so distant future. And we'll ask her some dating shit. Boys, we've got kind of limited time today and only a few segments to cover, so we should be fine. Let's jump in. Let's start what we always do. Glass half full. Look back. Recent Warriors hoop. Give me something you like or don't. MT, start us off.
Obviously, like the grit and pulling out the OT victory against Houston. It's just interesting. Like, I know Draymond recently came out and said tanking is not in our DNA. It's not what we do. It's not how we are built and how we're approaching it. Like, I wish they would tank, and I wish it was in their DNA so that we could get in on this draft that KP talked about. But it's also, like, as frustrating as it is to watch, it's fun to watch us beat a nemesis like Houston. But those guys are playing well. To see Gee playing well, earning his contract that he signed, and Pods keeps coming up clutch. It's fun to watch, but I just wish that they would keep it close like that and then lose a heartbreaker or two and keep our lottery chances alive.
Hey, perfect segue. I thought, what you were saying is exactly what I was getting ready to throw down as my portion of this. It was that game. That game is both sides. Glass half full, glass half empty. It just depends on how you want to look at it. Like, on one side, anytime you are undermanned the way the Warriors are and come out with a win, it's dope as hell, and undermanned isn't the right word for last night. No Steph, no KP, no Jimmy, no GP2. I think they might not have traveled with a full complement of warm-up jerseys. I think that this was a ridiculously injured team, and I'll lean on somebody smarter than me to describe it for us. Here's friend of the podcast, Tim Roy, in a tweet before last night's game. Quote, "This is not an exact science, but I want to show the magnitude of the Dubs' injuries. Using their season averages, the Warriors will be missing 90 points, 20 rebounds, and 15 assists tonight in Houston." So, that's a game, dude. That's a full-ass game of stats that they were missing. And conversely, Houston, hated fucking rival, not only wasn't hurt, they were playing everybody. They were motivated. They entered last night tied for third and sliding in the wrong direction. A season that's supposed to be like title contending for them. And they come in, they hate us the way we hate them. And to win that game means a lot, man. And so, like, seeing Pods play the way he did, MT's crush, D'Anthony Melton, play the way he did, Horford continue to kind of show that me calling him a corpse was the wrong fucking thing. Like, it was dope and I enjoyed it, right? On the other side, God damn it. I have made this transition. I understand it's not popular. In fact, some people are giving me shit for it, but I've done this before. I've rooted for a team that wasn't in the middle of any kind of a title possibility. And I've also known about deep drafts. When you combine those two things, when you are speeding towards a probable first round loss and you have a very deep draft, it's better. It's better to lose occasionally. And so it was this weird thing. Watching this team that means the most to me, watching them beat a Houston team that I genuinely dislike, and then feeling, I don't know, like, I'm not super happy about it, is the definition of glass half full. So there you go. There's my portion.
It's true. It's difficult to watch a team win when you've just said on the podcast last week that you hope that they lose. So I was torn, but I will take it. I hope they don't win another game the rest of the season. But if there was one more that they had to win, I'm glad it was Houston. It was also it felt good. I'm sorry to say it because I feel bad personally for the guy, but like it felt really good to watch Kevin Durant not missed 2 clutch free throws in a row, but low-key missed the third by making it. Like he somehow blew the miss, which was truly incredible. So very fun. I loved watching Pajemski have some like nifty sort of like reverse layups and doing, like he said, everything that he needed for the team to win. As I talked about last time, I get really frustrated when he's ball dominant and pound the rock, and you see that a little bit still, but like he was doing the stuff that feels like the good side of Pajemski. So it's exciting. It's fun to watch new blood, relatively speaking, like Al Horford have a chase down block. It feels like a fun team to root for as opposed to a bunch of people that are on the tail end of things. So, it's fun. It's fun to see a win, but I would have preferred a loss.
My kid has these homework assignments. She's in 5th grade where they'll have word associations. There'll be like 2 big categories of words. On one side, there's the words themselves, and on the right sides, there's definitions, and you have to draw a line. This word means this definition. You cross over. If there was one of those, and on one side it said Al Horford, on the other side it said New Blood, that's not a motherfucking line I would be drawing at all. It's like, oh, must be Al Horford. Like, get this one for sure. Follow up on Houston specific. I have, and this is a weird way to phrase it, but I have all these old fuck you relationships. The Lakers. I've spent most of my adult sporting life disliking the Los Angeles Lakers, but it's kind of an old fuck you relationship because we haven't had, an active series with them really recently, and we haven't been able to renew it. Same thing for Boston. Old fuck you. Fuck you, but it's old. You know who I think has my most current fuck you relationship right now? I think it's Houston. And there's all of these active people. I have a weird fuck you relationship with Kevin Durant that's still active. I have a weird fuck you relationship with Ime Udoka that still feels this way. I've got one with Alfred Sengun. I don't, something
Tari
about his
Eason.
fuck, dude. Yeah, there's all of these active guys. And I don't think I'm alone. Here's a quote from Draymond Green last night. It's always satisfying to win there. We've had great success in this building. To come in here and get a win, they're playing all other guys. This one, that feels a little better than most. Here's Steve Kerr. This is a good building for us. We've done some playoff series here. You win a game like tonight, it feels the same. You're just trying to win. Winning is just an amazing feeling. Even though this is a regular season game, just to see a bunch of young guys compete and go out with a win, it just feels like a playoff win. It really does. If this is a really young team, okay, and they were in the playoffs last year and they got a little taste of it, so they know what it means. And then they use this phrase. All right, sure, playoff win. This is not a fucking young team. They've won 4 titles, Stu. He's been in really high places. For this coach who has been in all these high places to come out and be like, oh, that win last night that kind of screwed over our tanking scenario felt like a playoff win. I construe as an active fuck you. So good for you, Steve Kerr.
Yeah, he was so pumped when Guy hit that shot at the end of the first half too, when he did that layup, and you could just tell it meant something to them. They were having fun. So I could see that, and hopefully, like Maxime said, that's the last win for their whole season. But
last thing I also like, and I meant to say this a couple weeks back, Guy Santos has signed with the team, $15 million, 3-year deal, eminently affordable. He's a ball of energy. We've said a lot of positive things. We at least got to throw that out there. We've got to look around the league that we are speeding towards, but one golden question, boys. All right. So the golden question is this, and it's kind of a variation on the tanking. It is, should they sit Steph Curry for the remainder of the season? As things stand, they're going to reevaluate him, I think, in like a week and a half. They are coming off a big win. Before you guys give me an answer, let me play you a couple of things. One, here's Draymond Green after last night's win. Festus asks him, what meant so much? Here was his response.
I thought you set the energy tonight. Happy birthday, by the way. And
thank you, brother.
Dude, you were moving good tonight. You were, all over the floor. You're picking KD up past half court. What was the motivation tonight?
We need a win. We're trying to keep this thing afloat, man. Hopefully we can get 30 back at some point, get KP back, get Steph back. Got to win some of these ones that you're not supposed to win. And, we want to have a good night tonight. It's always better to have a good night with a win.
You can cut it right there. So we might be expecting tanking. Draymond Green is not. Draymond Green is keeping these guys afloat while expecting Steph. He also threw in KP. I don't know if he's talking about Kristen Peak, because if he's hoping for Kristaps Porzingis, that might be a long wait, but I guess we will find out. All right. So there's on one side, Draymond Green is holding it down, thinks that Steph's coming back. Other side, we've talked about tanking. I won't push that again. Instead, I'll give you another perspective. Here is a take from Howard Beck explaining just how long Steph may plan on playing.
And there's obviously now there's speculation about how much longer Steph Curry is going to play, which is also sad and obnoxious because I want him to play forever.
Yes.
Do you have any sense of how much longer he plays? I feel like he's the one guy that his game can continue. He's not going to not be able to shoot. You know, it's like, is he a guy that kind of has more longevity than these other guys, or is his clock ticking?
It's interesting, Chandler, because there are some guys who, if they can't be themselves, if they can't be dominant, it's time to go. Or if they can't still contend, it's time to go. Steph and I talked about this for the story I did back in January, and his thing was like, yeah, I could be a role player. I could come off the bench. I could be, you know, you think about guys like Vince Carter, his last several years where he was like part role player, part mentor / you know, seventh assistant coach or whatever. Paul Pierce toward the end, Grant Hill toward the end. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can go out as, you know, an NBA legend in this league. And Steph, when we talked about it, seemed to put everything on the table. Like he wouldn't mind if he's diminished, you know, or, you know, whatever, lost a step, 2 steps, if he can't be a starter anymore, if he can't, he basically said, like, I don't want to be a traffic cone out there defensively, but he's always going to be able to shoot. So, you know, there are various ways he could decide to carry out his last 2, 3, 4, however many years he wants. The one thing that was very, very clear, though, is that he wants that to end in Golden State.
I won't harp on the end of that sentence, although loved it, right? But here's why I played that, okay? We've been looking at the tanking considerations and sitting Steph to help Golden State next year. And that's still true. We don't have to go back through it. What I think that quote adds, Steph, if he is considering being the 7th assistant coach, you know what I mean? Like if he's willing to be diminished and continue to play, then his career can go a lot beyond this current contract, right? You know, I mean, like his planned minutes go on for a few years, which leads back to the question. If he wants to keep playing for a while and we want to make sure that he's as healthy as possible going forward, does it make sense to burn minutes this season? You know, like, should we continue to play him to chase what is most likely going to end in a first, you know, either play-in or first-round loss? Or, you know, should he be out there because any team led by Steph Curry has a chance? I don't know. What do you think? MT, take us first.
I think you sit him and play for next season, especially if has a few more years beyond this contract. It's always hard to try to get a player not to play, and especially one as competitive as Steph. But I think you have to get in between that competitiveness from him and think a little bit longer term. I mean, hearing that quote that he said he was talking to Steph about back in January, it's plausible that Clay could return and our second unit is Steph, Clay, and Draymond, right? And, you know, with the young guys leading the way. So that would be cool for a lot of different reasons. We can go into it on a different episode, but I think you have to sit him. But it's hard because Steph gets to do what he wants to do and he has that power in the organization. So you have to delicately bring it up to Steph and try to convince him to make that decision himself.
Yep. Maxime, you agree?
Well, it's pretty clear that Steph is the fiercest of fierce competitors, and it's got to do something to somebody's soul to sit and watch your team that you say that you're never going to leave just erode like this. So, you know, that's tough. And you hear Draymond saying in the locker room, like, this is what a championship culture looks like, right? It looks like pulling out wins even when half of your guys have spent time in the G League. But, right, you know, as this guy says in the chat, right, 5 more years. There's a lot to be said for having Steph Curry on this roster for a very long time, having sort of a passing the baton look. And, I mean, I think it's the type – he could go for 6th man of the year and add that to his war chest at some point. And you have the legacy of Andre Iguodala coming in from a starting role in Denver and taking a role off the bench and having that be the reason that, you know, we go on this title run. I mean, one of the main reasons we go on the title run. So to think that a loaded draft comes in this year. We've tanked hard enough that we get a really great player out of it. We start building for the future. Steph is now on a reduced contract. Another argument that you could make is, oh, well, you need to get these guys like Guy, who just signed, on more reps, right? We haven't had too much time with D'Anthony Melton and Steph on the court together. Need more reps, so on and so forth. Steph taking a reduced role is also a reduced paycheck. And so that means you have so much more financial flexibility to build a team around him with star players that are going to take the current Steph contract numbers away from him, right? So that allows for a very, very different team than what you have now. And I would prefer that we build towards that now. If Steph is saying that publicly, again, he is influenced by Iguodala and the success that provides. What does that do? I mean, and talk about a person in Steph who everybody says is the best teammate ever. Steph says, hey, as the best teammate ever, I know when I've taken a step back and I'm willing to come off the bench. What that says about the culture that he wants to be a part of, that he's saying, I'm not leaving. I'm going to sort of pass the baton to a group of people that are still in their primes. To me, that says that there is a title window open with Steph. Maybe it's not with him leading it, but I'm more invigorated than I've been in a long time for a future with Steph Curry, because this is unprecedented to have somebody of this level of success be this open, even while he's still capable, in my opinion, of being the A1 superstar taking a team to a championship, of saying, hey, I'm willing to come off the bench. That just signals right now, dude, we're going to do anything to make it happen. And to me, the 5th Steph Curry ring happening while he's not a starter or coming off of the bench is almost more meaningful if he's the one that said, hey, I'm willing to do this, than if he's still pushing it, because it's such a fantastic representation of what it means to be a great teammate. So yeah, sit him.
You nailed that. So I'll follow up what you just said and give you my answer. Follow what you just said. I'm running out. Let me start that over. I thought I was running out of reasons to like Steph Curry more. I just keep thinking that. I mean, fucking 4 titles, all the things we've watched him, all the joy he's brought me. But I'm always wrong. That quote is another reason to like him more. Think about what we just heard. Right? Apparently, the message that was communicated to Howard Beck that he reported back is, one, I'm not really sure how long I'm going to go. I'm not really sure. I don't care. I will come off the bench. I will do anything you want me to do. I love this game, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long it's going to go. Here's one thing I am sure. I'd like to be in Golden State. It's like, holy shit, dude. I mean, there's not, that's exact. You, as a person who loves this team, you couldn't ask for anything more. Back to this question. All right. Let me hedge in a way I always have. It's a cheater bullshit response, but I couldn't mean it more. You know who you asked this to? Steph Curry. That's it. That's it. There's nobody else that he has earned the right to answer this question. If he comes in and says, of course I shouldn't play. Of course I shouldn't. This draft is deep. We've got no chance. This team is dog shit. We've got no chance. But you know what? I want to play. Then he plays. That's it. And then vice versa. If he's like, it means everything to me. This means the world to me, but I don't really want to be out there. Give me the time. And then you just listen to him. Objectively, if it was up to me, yeah, I'd sit him. I'd sit him in a heartbeat. I think that you don't know what the number is, but every NBA player who ever goes into the league has a certain amount of minutes that they're going to be able to play. We'll call it an odometer. You don't find out what that number is until they retire, but it's a finite deal. There's a certain amount they can play. We are hopefully many years away before when Steph really has to worry when we hit that number, but we're getting towards the time where you at least watch it. You're looking at the gas meter going in the wrong direction. If that's true, and we got to be careful about when we use these minutes. Do I want to use any of them this year? No, I do not. For what? Save them. Wait not only until this year, that's probably lost because of the people who, the second Jimmy went down, but next year when maybe we can give you a little bit more help. If, Porzingis doesn't come back, you fill that salary slot. So listen to Steph, but if he's flexible, then I would sit him. Yeah.
And I think the other part too is it's not championship or bust anymore for watching Steph. Like, he's so entertaining, and the goal now is, can we be healthy for a full season and just see what happens? Yeah. Like, I just want to be healthy and roll the dice and see what happens. But there's a lot of great players who this year will not win a championship, and it seems like it doesn't carry the same the sky is falling like it does with Steph Curry, right? In this dynasty. It's like, one team is going to win. A combination of the Thunder and their, deep roster, or Wemby or Anthony Edwards or Boston and their Tatum redemption story, or the Knicks or Joker, like only one of that whole group is going to win, and everybody else is going to be the bust. So I think it's changing the narrative. It's not, are we going to win a championship? It's just, are we going to be healthy and contend, be a dark horse? I think if we can be healthy and be a dark horse for the last 4 to 5 years of Steph's career, then that to me is a win. And getting a ring will just be icing on the cake.
Couldn't be more right. All the people you just named, none of them have 4 titles. None of them. Joker's got 1, and we're all talking about he might be the best player, certainly in the world, maybe top 5 of all time. Steph's got 4. He's already got 4. Okay. To the segment I was looking most forward to, our look around the league. We haven't done one for a while. In case you don't remember it, MT has researched 3 league-wide stories. He'll give all 3 to us. We vote on which ones to discuss. MT?
Here we go. First one up, Jason Tatum is back. He has been switched to available as his status for the game against the Mavericks tonight. This is 10 months after he tore his Achilles. We can talk about if that's too soon. Typical timeline is 12 months at least. I don't know, it gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. I don't even have to play. So we can talk about that. Second story, LeBron James. He is now the league leader in history of the most field goals in the NBA as well, passing Kareem for that. So the question will be, what other accomplishments would LeBron need to hit and need to have on his resume for us to seriously consider him the GOAT, if you don't already have that? Have him as that. And third and final story, Kon Knupple. He is now the sportsbook's betting favorite to win Rookie of the Year, which is a little crazy. But it's partly due because of the way he's shooting the three-point ball. At this current pace, if he continued to shoot it at this clip, he would, and Steph stopped making any threes right now, it would take him a little over 15 seasons to pass Steph Curry. So the question is, we can talk about that. Does he do it? Is it possible? Obviously, Steph's not going to stop shooting threes right now, but, is there anybody who could challenge Steph's record? And if so, is it Kon Knupple?
I've got a slightly funny story about Kon Knupple. I'll put that in tow for your guys' vote. The only one that I will knock out is LeBron, because I can answer. What would he have to do to be considered the best player? Change his name to Michael Jordan. I would refuse to even jump into either of those. So between JT and Kon, I'll go Kon Knupple. What's your guys' vote?
I think you said best player. To me, that's not an interesting. The conversation is around GOAT, and I think he would have to at least become a ballet dancer to have, and also sell shoes to a bunch of Republicans. I mean, Michael Jordan is the GOAT because he put basketball on the stage that it's on now and did it by being a graceful and incredible, fierce competitor. So it's just LeBron's never going to be able to touch that magic. But I agree. Leave that aside. I also have the heebie-jeebies by even thinking about Tatum coming back after 10 months. Like, we had a Kevin Durant on our team for whom that did not go particularly well. So I'm nervous. I know we have the best sports science of all time, but I'm here to talk about Kon, as I got some interesting takes as well. So I'm curious to hear this story too. You teased it pretty hard, Bram. That's my vote as well.
Excellent. One last follow-up on Tatum. I just why the hell did Jimmy Butler not get his surgery the second that he got hurt? I mean, like the Tatum thing, right? Like, it was the fucking next day in the playoffs that that's why he's coming back now. Why did they wait? Why was there a few weeks before Jimmy? But that's not what we're talking about. To Kon Knupple. I'll give you the story and then back to UMT for the follow-ups. Eric and I went to the Charlotte game, Saturday night game. When we picked it was for the day, and then Charlotte's been this kind of exciting team. And Erica likes basketball. She's been to a million games, but she doesn't know who Kon Knupple is. And Kon, I don't know, scored 4,000 against us. It was some ridiculous thing. And there was a sequence where he hit a three, stole the inbounds, hit a layup, and then the Warriors had a bad turnover and he hit another three. So it was 8 points, and the announcer had to say his name 3 times in a row. And he said it with no emotion. He kept going, Kon Knupple. He said it just like that. And the third time, Erica finally turns to me and goes, who the fuck is Kon Knupple? And I gave her a, 5-minute dissertation about this guy's incredible and blah, 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 blah. She tuned out as quickly as anyone's ever tuned out. And then every single time the announcer said Kon Knupple, she turned to me and said, "Who the fuck is Kon Knupple?" So she's a savage. Dude. Like, careful. You might not want to go to a Warrior game with Erica Hilson.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, he's shooting the Rockets. Just another point to emphasize how great of a shooter Steph is. Kon Knupple is on track to make 277 3-pointers this season, and it's all the talk. It's like, oh, he's the next Klay Thompson. Steph's record is 402 in the season, so it's like you're over 130 short of that. So, but he's shooting it well, and the game has changed. I don't think he keeps up that pace for 15 seasons. So I think Steph is safe, and especially if Steph plays 4 or 5 more seasons and comes off the bench and wins 6th Man of the Year, averaging 5 3-pointers a game. So I'm not worried about it, but it's interesting to see him play and watch him play. I didn't think he'd be this good, and I definitely didn't think he would potentially win Rookie of the Year.
Do you see Kon's quote about him versus Steph? He said, so he talked about 2 giant records that Steph holds. The one is the one you just talked about, the 403 in a season. The other is the all-time record. And Kon first acknowledged that 403 in a season, untouchable. It's like the chances of doing that are very small. That's some elite, legendary shit. That's not going to happen. Then he turned to the all-time record. And he didn't say, I'm going to beat it, but what he said is that it's beatable. And what he pointed to is that Steph's ankle issues. He's like, early on, Steph wasn't playing all of those games, and the three-pointer wasn't quite as important and as popular. And so he might, what Kon's math is that young players are shooting more threes now, and they may play a longer career than Steph does. And so he didn't say, like, I'm going to beat it. But he didn't also he didn't put it in the same lofty standard as the 403. He left it kind of, I've got my sights set on that one.
Did he knock on wood? Because that's assuming he doesn't have any injuries too.
I read it and thought to myself, who the fuck is Kon Knupple?
Then Erica chimed in and told you all about him.
There he is. So Cooper Flagg and Kon Knupple, they played together at Duke, right? And this Kon story has come out of absolute nowhere. I mean, Cooper was the surefire Rookie of the Year and the changing of everything, and he's had an unbelievable season. Kon has surprised everybody. Right now, do you think Cooper Flagg hates Kon? Like that. Like, I'm sure they're friends. You know what I mean? Like they would be that. But just from a competitive standpoint, if you were Cooper and this guy has crashed your Rookie of the Year party, would there be, when in times when people weren't recording you, would you be like, fuck that guy? Like, this is supposed to be my year. I would be.
You would be? I think weren't they roommates? I think they were. Yeah, they were roommates. I think because of that, Cooper isn't upset. But yeah, I mean, it's coming out of nowhere. I was looking it up. Kon Knupple's odds to win Rookie of the Year at the start of the season were plus 2,000, and Flagg was a negative 235, or minus 235. So that's a pretty big swing.
There's no way. I am positive then, in his heart of hearts, not again in its sports hate. I'm sure he loves this guy. It's his brother. They played on the same team, roommates. I'm sure they'll be friends forever. But right now, is he super happy that he's sharing this competition with him? I say no. There's no fucking way. That's how competition works, at least in my completely psychopathic mind.
I like the sophomore slump is not just a thing for albums, players go through it too. There's a lot to be said for, I think people still are surprised by the clip with which he's hitting these threes, but people are going to game plan against it. People are going to take off seasons to look at it. They're going to look at Charlotte getting better over the course of the season, going from being not even in the conversation to suddenly being a potential playoff team in the East. And they're going to say, well, shit, why is that happening? LaMelo, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is Kon Knupple shooting threes. They're going to tighten it up. I think part of what makes Steph so great is he can shoot it from anywhere. He's got a lightning quick release. It's this whole thing that it's not It's not as simple as that. You can't just look at somebody's rookie numbers for the first 60 games of the season and say, well, you can extrapolate that out over 15 seasons. It's going to get harder for him. It just is. And he's going to have injuries over the course of that. It's not going to be perfect for him either. So, people said 72-10, the Bulls record was untouchable, and then the Warriors went and did it. So I'm not saying it's not impossible, but I just don't think it's as linear as we're making it out to be.
No, what you're nailing is right now he's probably number 3, number 4 on the whiteboard before a game. When the other team is getting ready defensively and they have the things. Number 1, stop point of attack with LaMelo. 2, Brandon Miller, do not leave this guy. Somewhere on that list is Kon. Assuming his success continues, that's going to move up. And what Steph has done has continued to do this when he was number 1. He was probably numbers 1 through 3. Don't let him shoot. Don't let him shoot. Please don't let him shoot. And he's still setting records. So you're right. This will become a lot more difficult as his success continues.
Yeah. Did you see or hear Iman Shumpert's interview recently? They asked him of Kobe, Steph, Kyrie, and Derrick Rose, who's the hardest to guard? And he thought about it for a second, and he said, when I first came in the league, my rookie year, it was Kobe. And he was like, but it was because he had the ultimate green light. He was like, he had the green light. He could shoot from wherever, and he didn't care because he knew he wasn't getting taken out. He's like, and for you trying to guard that, it's impossible because he doesn't care about, making mistakes, and you have to try to stop that. He's like, but after that, he said, Steph. He said, the reason why isn't because of just how he shoots. It's because if he figures out that you're doing something really well on defense, he just switches up what he does. He was like, Steph realized that I was a really good on-ball defender and that he couldn't dribble past me. He said, and every time I would go to guard him, he would give up the ball and just start running around. He was like, he'd run me off of 3-4 screens and he was like, he just took away my power. And he was like, Steph is the only one that I've tried to guard that could do that. He just takes away what you're good at and says, if you're good at that, I'm just going to go do this, and you can't stop me.
It's incredible insight on Steph, and it's also great insight on Iman Shumpert that he was like, well, I'm an incredible on-ball defender. And if they actually had footage of it, it'd be Steph in the huddle being like, look, Iman's terribly out of shape, dude. I'm just running around. It's he can't, this motherfucker can't follow me at all. I will be open over there. You just get it to me. No problem. Here we go.
Don't even worry about on-ball defense. He's going to be so tired.
Yes, dude. I'm going to go ahead and put up 50 before he gets close to me. All right, boys. Huge fun. True every week. I know we got to get out of here, so let's wrap it here. If you'd like to get us a question, let us know we did a good job. Let us have any kind of feedback whatsoever. You can shoot us an email to
huddle@warriorshuddle.com.
Boom. We're also on social media. And when I say that, really what I mean is Twitter. We don't really hit any of our other accounts. So if you choose other ones and see us on there, that's probably not us. But we are on Twitter, so you can follow us there. And we're also up on YouTube, which is still doing incredible things. With that in mind, go Warriors. Hopefully, see you real soon.